Oh my goodness, do we have a treat for you? We have the amazing, multi-talented John Colclough. John, thank you so much for being here. It's a
Not a problem,
pleasure.
Mark. I think it's a bit of a pleasure for being asked to come on, really. So it's always good to share what you need.
Good. Well, no, fantastic to have you here. And guys, if you're on here right now, I'm telling you, you're in for a treat. So whether you're watching this live or on the replay, put hashtag live if you're watching it here live and hashtag replay. Why is this? Why do we want you to do that? Because when you start asking some questions, when we go into John's experience and what we're talking about and the subjects of money, business and property investing, then if you've got any questions, we need to know that if you're watching on the replay that you are going to get your questions answered and we can interact with you. So first things first, guys, let's get this shared. Let's share it all over the place. So have you done that your side, John?
Just done it. Just done.
Awesome. Good. So guys, if you're watching this, and John, what you might want to do as well is let's tag a few people in it. Let's tag a few people in it and just give them the opportunity to see if they want to be involved in what we're going to be talking about tonight, because John has a very interesting story, from being in very much financial difficulty, isn't it, John? Through your childhood and then having to go through life and building it up yourself, starting to sell things and get into property, and now actually having, is it around 50 builders you say on site at the moment?
Yeah, we have up to and around about 60 contractors at any one time. We've got 9 sites that are underway at the moment. Anything ranging from, and this is where it's good for you to ask me some questions, but anything ranging from a little house converted to 2 flats, your standard mid-terrace house, up to a nightclub conversion to 22-unit scheme. So yeah, we've got quite a variety of things that are going on.
Yeah, good. And we're going to get into that. So guys, before we do dive in, do share this, do comment, and do give us some likes, reactions, or whatever it is that you want to do or say. But let's do that now. Thank you, Liliana, for being here. These guys on Instagram. Oh yeah, we've got some awesome people on Instagram. So like, wherever it is that you're watching it, start commenting, start giving some reactions. Yes, Amma, you jump platform. Unless you're watching it on multi-platforms, which will be very interesting. But yeah, let me know when you guys have shared it. By the way, each week we're going to be giving away real life merchandise. So this is anything from, t-shirts, cups, phone cases, leggings, hoodies, blankets. There's all sorts of stuff that you guys can have. Now, if you want to be in a chance to do that, we're going to announce it at the end of this. So what you need to have done is shared it on your page. So let us know that you've done that. And you need to tag at least 10 people who may be in or out of the tribe, but at least 10 people who are not in the real life tribe. So 10 and 10, so 20 in total. So let's go ahead and do that and get yourself within a chance to get some merchandise. This is the early Christmas present for yourself. So start tagging. Like I say, share it on your thing first. Share it on your feed. Then what you're going to do is you're going to tag 10 people in the tribe, 10 people out the tribe, so we can mix it up and just be adding the value. Like John is here, super excited. We did a little bit of a substitution and a quick switch over. The person I was supposed to have on this week came on last week, and it's all turned out all good. Everything happens for a reason. Can't tag someone for a reason. You'll figure it out. Turn it off and come back on and see if you can make that happen. Because you want to be in a chance to just be a winner and just put yourself in that position. So guys, once you've done that, you keep doing that. And if you've got any questions, by the way, some of you may know John already, some of you may know me. Like the chances are you got some things going on in life right now where you might have some questions around, and questions, really clever questions, are going to give you great direction, and the quality of your question does determine the quality of your life. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So let's see what questions you've got, and let's delve into some answers and see, what the next move is maybe for yourself. Yeah, but John, what's interesting, I love about you, just give us a bit of a brief background on yourself. Other than the fact that you've gone from, being broke and going through financial difficulty to now running successful businesses and doing many successful property, deals and also projects. that we're going to get into more detail on. But just give us a bit of background on how you actually got to where we are today.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it's a bit of a. I try and keep brief as possible because I do talk pretty quick, so we'll slow down a little bit. But literally, I can remember when I was starting off at school. I was 12 years old. I was buying and selling, and I used to sell crisps, chocolate. It sounds funny. Cigarettes and beer on the playground to my friends. And the reason why I started this,
cigarettes at school.
Yeah. 50 pence. I used to buy 20 for two. I used to buy 20 for £2.50, and I used to sell 50 pence each.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
And I've never smoked because I think sort of one of the sort of rules in life is not sort of smoke your own profit. So I don't. But yes, I started off at school, and it literally came down when I was about 12 years old. As you're growing up, you think things are normal in your own life because you've been brought up around your own surroundings, family, friends, whoever it may be. And the issue is, I thought my life was normal, but it was normal for me. I'm basically from a council estate, which is like most people, to be fair with you. And literally, I started growing up, starting to see things a little bit differently. And I saw people coming to my parents' house, sort of knocking on the door to say, they used to get like a payday loan that I sort of know as it is now. But like back when I was 12, I hadn't got a clue what it was. And we used to have to put like £1 in the TV. So these are the kind of things which now are strange, right? Because you can buy a TV for 100, 200 quid. It's pretty normal for myself now. But when I was doing that, I saw it's a bit of a change, and I wanted to change my family circle. It wasn't just for myself. I wanted to change, because obviously my nans and granddads, and then my mum, and then it would have been my sister, and then probably their kids would have all gone down the same route because that was their normal, which is fine. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but I wanted a better life, and I wanted to change my family circle. So that's where at 12 years old, I was buying and selling at school. By the time I left school, obviously what I can't do then, I can't go back to the playground selling sweets and crisps at 16, 17. That's a little bit strange. So I went on to clothes, I went on to cars, sort of damage repair cars. I used to get it from auction. They used to go to my uncle's car shop, and I used to get a guy who owned a car transporter, which now I know that is sort of leverage. All I do is got the cars from auction. I phoned up the car transporter guy. He went pick them up. They went to my uncle's car shop. He used to repair them, and then I used to sell them. So I just kept going like this. And then one of the biggest things, I bought my own house in 2009. But in around about 2012, I got a phone call from my sister. And obviously, if you can imagine, this bit of a cycle that my whole family were in was normal. So my sister was going down that normal route of debt, of issues. Obviously, she couldn't manage her own money. And the issue is then she called me after my dad died, because my dad died at 44 years old. So I became sort of man of the house, but I was pretty young. And literally, she rung me crying. So I went down the house and what's going on? And the council have given her a red letter. So for all of you who haven't rented before, saying I haven't rented myself, but I only know through my sister, but a red letter, that is literally an eviction notice from the council. So where the hell sort of do you go then? If you want a council house or want a house, you normally go to the council. If you're getting evicted, who do you go to? So at that point, I went and bought a house. I was intending to look for something, but my goal and my ambition right back then, 2012, was to basically own the street, because I'd done no training, I'd done no education whatsoever. There was not a lot of Facebook groups back then. There was not a lot of nothing really. I was just there on my own, doing my own thing, saving some money. I was doing between 65 and about 90-hour weeks at work, just to work hard, hustle, save the money, and then I got enough for a 15% as a deposit, which I paid 50 grand for a 3-bed semi. And I went through all that process, and me and my girlfriend did most of the work myself, just because of the fact that I wanted to understand it, even though I was an engineer, so I understood tools and trade and stuff, but I wanted to actually do the first one myself. It was a grind. We got the job done. It took probably twice as long as it should have. But same again, back then, I didn't know what I know now. So that's where I went to, really. And that's where I moved my sister in my house, and she rented from me. But we taught her, it's a good thing about your family, that you can talk to them once they understand what you do, is I taught my sister all about cash and money and credit, because it was about 15 to 20 grand of debt. So it might sound sad, but I went and took my sister's bank card off her, my girlfriend checked out all of her direct debits. There was like Amigo loans, 3,000%, absolutely mental. So we organised all her finances for her, set up a normal direct debit on a certain date of the month, because a lot of people who don't understand money, what they do is they can scatter their direct debits. That's a bad thing to do, because you're always chasing the money. But after 18 months anyway, we learned about money. We learned we said £15 a week for bread and milk and stuff like that. After 18 months with her own money, none of my money, our hard work, we managed to pay off all of her debt and give her card back with £3,000 savings. I've never seen someone cry so much. But all I did was I tried to ingrain what I know into my sister using her own money, nothing to do with me. I was like, yes, we organised everything, but her own money paid off her debt. And that's where I am today. I want to help people.
There's a question we always ask, John. We always say, like, who's managing their money, or who has a system for managing their money? And it's funny because some people are like, yeah, some people are like, no. But the fact is, everybody is managing their money. Just some are doing it well and some are doing it not so well. But everybody's managing money in some way, shape, or form. But what I just want to go back to, because what's interesting. So when you were at school, you started, selling these crisp cigarettes and things like that. Then when you moved on to like clothes and cars, were you like in a job, or was this your job, or was this on the side of your job?
No, I've always had a job along the way. I've always been doing something. It was just a bit of a side hustle, really, just to make a little bit of money. Because you can imagine when you're at school, 12, 13, 14, I finished school at 15. And when you're doing sweets and crisps, the way I see it now is that you're sort of starting to train with money. You're doing the ones and twos. Do you know what I mean? You're making 10 pence here, 5 pence there, 30 pence here, which when you're 12, it's quite a lot of money, right? If you come home after a day at school and you made a fiver, that's quite a lot of money for a 12-year-old. And I'm working through, and I didn't understand. But then, and also seeing these guys and these women coming to my mum's house, my mindset then, it's changed again now, was if I can't afford it, I can't have it. So that's why I was making money. And when I left school at 15, I bought my own sort of motorbike. It was £1,085 it was, for DT50 for cash. How many 15-year-olds can walk in a motorbike shop with £1,085 cash? That made me feel good, because I've actually achieved my first goal in life, to sort of not have debt.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Totally relating to what you're saying there. And the way I look back, so I don't know if it's the same for you. I think that actually forced me to make some mistakes, because I never had any money, like growing up like you on a council estate, very little finances. The resources were always having to be stretched and shared amongst. I got 3 sisters. So then when I started to make some money, I actually started doing some similar things to you. I was like buying things that I could never have before, like some of the things like buying a car, putting a stereo system that was worth 4 times more than the car. It was doing silly stuff like that. But like you said, for me, I get what you say. It was like, hey, this is my achievement. This is what I work for. And I was taught the same thing, is, don't go into debt. Cash is king. All debt is bad debt, and just based on what being taught by people who couldn't really had any financial education themselves, or definitely didn't have any money themselves. That was my instance anyway. So when it comes to you making that move, you bought the house. Did you just do all that off your own back for your sister? You just bought the house and you were just kind of following the process that was the normal thing, like, buy a house, rent it out, that type of thing? Or had you had any training or insight at that point?
I say I hadn't got no insight really. It's just because my home, my original family home where I was brought up, was sort of it was on the largest council estate in Europe back in 1950s. Like, that's 4,500 people on there, and it's still just so big now, obviously. But the issue is there. And I lived on one of the small streets in number 10, and literally I bought number 1 because in my head again, sort of when I was younger, I used to play the game Monopoly, So what I wanted to do was buy the whole street. Yeah, it's a good ambition. It's probably a bit crazy, but especially because all the houses are owned by the council still. So it's probably not able to. But back then, I didn't know none of this. I just thought that everyone owned their own home, right? That's what I thought. So my mum owned number 10, so I thought when I was younger, and then I was trying to buy number 1. So my dad died when I was 21, he's 44. Literally, then I found out there's life insurance to pay off the house, the mortgage that they had. So I'm like, okay, so you never actually owned the house anyway. So, but it's these little things, and it's sad to say, but my dad dying was a really bad thing that happened to me because of grief, but also, just to caveat that, it was one of the best things that happened to me, just because it gave me that bloody kick up the arse to get shit done.
Yeah, and when you say get stuff done, it's like, what you mean? Because you became like the man of the family, and it's like now you got to make sure you take care of your mom and your sister and other things. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's literally just that. Yeah, because like most times we're all like comfortable. We're okay. We've got a roof over our head. We've got parents. We're still eating. We're still drinking. We're all okay. But when something like that happens, quite drastic, and then when I think that my dad died, and then my sister's ringing me about, oh, John, I can't afford my rent. I'm like, oh, I need to come up with a solution because I've been buying this for quite a long time since then, since I was 12 to 2014. No, 2012, sorry. It's still quite a long time. I've been making a little bit of money. But then also by making money, a lot of your friends, what can I say? They start becoming arseholes. They're no longer your friends. You soon find out, as soon as you start making money, you'll find out who your true friends are. Most of them will only want you for like, lend me 50 quid, lend me 50 quid. But when you want to ring them, they don't care.
So just 2 things on that, and I'll ask them both so I don't forget them. But so like the first thing is, number 1, how do you handle, because there's a lot of people probably watching that either going through or have been through that process, or you go through different layers, right? One skin of friends drops off and you get a new set, and then you keep going through the different layers. So the first thing is, what do you do and how do you handle that? Yeah. And the other thing is, like, isn't it only coming down to, well, you had a certain perception of money, you've changed your perception, and when you've changed your perception of money, now your money changes. Yeah, your money situation changes. Is it just they're holding on to their old beliefs of money, and it's like they got their own garbage rather than it's anything to do with you?
I think a lot of times it is that. I think a lot of times what they don't understand, because you're still that normal person. Because I just can remember when you're younger, there's always a certain guy or a certain woman that'll drive around your estate in a nice car. It might be one person on the whole Stoke-on-Trent drives a Ferrari that I knew of, and you used to always judge him. Drug dealer, he's got to be a drug dealer, because 12 years old, how the hell can somebody else own a Ferrari? Do you know what I mean? We don't know. And that's the same thing as when you're getting older, your friends are getting older, they've still got that perception of, how has he done that? He's the same as me, actually. He can't call me a drug dealer because I'm not. He knows me. He's going, how can he do that and why not me? I think a lot of time it rolls into a bit of jealousy. I think that's one of the biggest things. I might be wrong, but and I hope I'm wrong, but I think it is. A lot of people do get jealous. They do start slating you. They do say, oh, it's only because of this. Some families start to slate you. Say, how the hell can you do that? And how the hell can you have a new car? How the hell can you have 2 holidays? I can only afford 1. People will judge you no matter what you do. And so what I do, I'll get back to your first question, how do I deal with it? I'm pretty hardcore, I think. I'm pretty sort of brutal. And a lot of my friends, even though I've grown, I've got more friends who are better friends, but a lot of my friends will say that I am pretty brutal. If someone's negative, if someone wants to slate me, I don't care. Friends, family, anybody, see you later. I am heavily brutal. I'm so focused on getting to where we need to go. I need to make my family's life. I need to help my genuine friends who actually want the help. So anyone that's not interested, I'm happy to get rid of you. It might sound hardcore, but I'm family or friends. I don't really care. I will get rid of anybody.
So that's kind of going into the other question I was asking. Like, what advice do you have for some people? Like, how do you handle the fact that people are going to come after you? They're going to try and take you down. They're going to spit negativity around what it is you're doing when they have probably no idea what it is you're doing anyway. I mean, my family, like my sisters, my mom, I mean, they still don't know what I do.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And I think when people are like that, you just got to sort of switch off a little bit. Just if that's your sort of your nan or someone, sometimes, pardon me, sometimes you can't have to get rid of them. I probably happily too, but you probably can't. So you just have to try and wind it down a little bit. So if you're going to see a family in a very negative, try and talk about something else. Just sort of let them become a watcher. I'd say let them become a watcher. Let them see what you're doing. Wait until you've sort of been doing what you're doing for 12 months. Because for my first 12 months, I was told, John, are you going to get a real job? I'm like, what do you mean get a real job? Well, in the warehouse or do a bit of engineering. I'm like, well, I've got a real job. I'm a property investor. No, a real job. Do you know what I mean? And I just like to wind it down a little bit. But then if people keep on attacking you in that way, it finds better to sort of wind it up a little bit. Go, yeah, I'm doing property. I'm doing a little bit more. Do you want to invest? I start going a bit more heavy then. I try to wind it down to help them. But they still give me shit, let's say. So I sort of wind that up. I sort of talk about it more. I sort of give them more education. I sort of try to give them more numbers. Because either way, they're either going to ignore you and sort of dislike you now, or they're going to go, actually, this sounds okay. So you've got to try and wind people the right way.
Yeah. So, so Carol is saying you're never going to get rid of her, Carol Niels. Yeah. And someone else called Sam is saying, John, can you say cookbook and bus, please?
Yeah, man. Cookbook and look. Because normally in Stoke it's cook, look, and book in Stoke.
Yeah.
So, it's cook, look, and book that everyone says. But, no.
All good. So you're getting some good love here as well. You know, so great. I don't know if can you see the comments? You can see
parts I'm coming down. Yeah, I can see the likes and shares. I think.
Yeah, good. So that's it. So that's your advice. You know, so what happens when you start going into this trade? And you're like people have spit that negativity at you, but and then start getting challenges. Like, tell us some of the challenges and tell us, you know, what did people start to say? Did you have any other negativity or anything else that come up?
I think all along the way you're going to get challenges, and it can be anything. Just let's say you're just starting out in property. I think the hardest challenge you're going to have is trying to get off that fence. What I say, because everyone's on the fence. Everyone's, am I getting the right deal? Am I buying the right price? Is the right ROI? Everyone's got a perception for themselves. And that's going to be the biggest thing for you personally, as in not negative from others. You need to get out of your own head personally and just work out, okay, as long as my numbers hit an ROI of X, then go ahead and get the deal done. Once you've done the one, that'll help you to get out of your own head. That's the first thing you need to get over. The next challenge is that I've learned along the way, and I'm trying to help other people, is when you're trying to find a deal, always work with the exit in mind. Talk to a broker. Get an exit. Just make sure that you can get a mortgage. I've had about 9 people in the past 2 weeks come to me, got a deal, gone enough all the way, and now they can't get a mortgage. That is going to be a challenge. And then obviously, same again, you've got every challenge along the way. You'll have friends, you'll have family. For me, trying to find a good builder, that is a challenge. But so we had our first builder. We had a great agreement. To be fair, he's a good enough builder. He was the builder. I've also got a letting agency in Stoke and Crewe in Newcastle under Lyme. I'll drop that one in there. But we do that as well. So we were developers, we were lettings, we were the investor, and the builder was the builder. I went away on a mastermind. I came back and found out the builder had gone and set up a letting agency using all my softwares and my systems, using one of the people that we were working with to grow our business. That's challenging, right? And people will always do this. People will try and take off your change. People will try and copy your name, as in our Pegasus Property Group. People will try and copy this stuff just because they want to try and get that head start. And to be honest with you, I think it's a bit of a bit positive, really. If someone wants to copy you, that's good, because at least someone likes what you're doing. They want to try and get off the back of you, which is fair enough. It's not good, but I try and take that now as a privilege. It does wind me up sometimes, but I think whatever negativity you get, try and switch it to a positivity as much as you can, because I'm such a positive person. Not a lot of people will ever bring me down at the moment. I'll never say never, I shouldn't say that, but we just don't know that. But I'm so positive, and I've got that much drive and passion to do this and help people.
Good. So I totally get what you're saying there. I mean, it just came up in one of our team meetings that we're having today, that this whole people that may kind of, there's two types. There's people that want to probably copy or kind of do a rip-off style, and then there's people who want to try and use it for inspiration. I mean, I see it all the time, and the way I see it is the same as I'm on that vibe, John, where it's like, hey, look, hey, at least what I'm saying must make sense, because if someone else wants to go say it, especially when I know someone who's got 150,000 subscribers or so on YouTube, they must be watching the videos. I'm talking about one thing, the next week it's coming out on their channel, the next time it's coming out on their video. I mean, I've been talking about replacing the education system and setting up charities to train children, to give them real education, real education that's proven already to be magical in communication and relationships and mood levels and how to deal with things and emotions and all of that good stuff. So I've been saying that for a long time, and other people want to get on that vibe as well. So in a way, John, I think many people, they're on a different path, but I think we're all contributing to the same mission. Some people are just getting there faster than others. Some people call it waking up or enlightenment or any of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we are here all together. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. Deny it or not deny it. Yes. But ultimately, it's like, look, doing it. I don't know about you, John, but a game changer for me was going from that counselor state where like you very much operate isolated because trust becomes a problem. I'm just talking for myself, not putting words in your mouth, but trust was a problem. I don't know to trust. Everybody wanted to rip each other off, and then actually switching that and then building the teams and having that loyalty with each other, because I've been in many of a business deal that turned out in a big financial loss. But for me, one of the biggest financial losses was I ended up losing £500,000, which actually turned out to be one of my biggest gains in experience, and then the drive, and then the shift in opportunity, which now go on to do all of these different businesses and go into these industries, and now I learn what not to do and how not to treat people in businesses. Yeah. So
that's a good thing as well. Like you say, it's always good, and exactly like what you just said. Not a lot of people can turn that negativity into positive, because that is the difference between you driving forward and holding yourself back. Because if you're holding on, I lost $500,000. Oh, I hate him. I lost $500,000. I hate him. You sit in your head. You're gaining that massive negativity and hatred. And how can you drive forward while you got the hatred? So it's always good to try and pick out the positivity. And yeah, at the time it might have been an absolute kick in the balls, right? But now you can look back and go, actually, it was okay, because I can find out all the positivity of what I gained from it. And what you're doing is sharing that knowledge now to give other people that drive to, okay, it's happened, you can't change it, but how can that make you better moving forward? And that's what I like about that.
Yeah, for sure. And most people would have heard the good old saying, like, learn from your mistakes or learn from other people's mistakes and all the rest of it. A lot of people have heard that. But what I see and what it comes down to is almost the level of admitting. Like most people, they're not very good admitters, are they? They don't really want to admit it. And I kind of use the analogy of like, this is crazy. This is like driving down the street with a flat tire and just ignoring it, saying, no, there's no flat tire. I mean, that's going to cause more damage, right?
Yes.
But isn't this what happens in life? Like, people make a mistake, and usually, because this is how it started for me, you're making mistakes and it's not really that costly. Because in the beginning, you know, your game is a lot smaller. Like you say, you usually, you know, going through it, you're being a kid, you're going into teenager, you're just getting your first job, doing your first investment. It's not really a costly loss. But then what happens is, through not admitting mistakes or not admitting the, you know, your idea, your pathway, or like, and I love how you use the drive from the other people, John. But you know, sometimes people go down that road of wanting to, you know, prove themselves or do it in spite of and all the rest of it. But it's a fine line between using it as a positive drive and banging your head against the wall, which then people don't learn the mistakes. And where they lost out small and didn't really hurt them, their losses keep getting bigger till one day, boom, that big loss, and it comes and crushes people. And it comes back to that analogy that I use of like driving a car. I mean, it sounds crazy to people, like, Mark, that's stupid. Like, everybody would stop if they had a flat tire. Yeah, but in life, when people are making those mistakes, and if you don't admit that that's what is going on here, then it's going to cause damage. And the longer you go on before you admit this, before you drop that resistance. I mean, I don't know about you, John, but I've seen people are always asking me, you know, can we get the results that you got? Can we get the results that all the people, you know, who come on real life training? I mean, can you? Yeah, of course. Oh, well, how long is it going to take? And I used to be like, right, we're going to do it quick. We're going to do it this way and that way. But I've realized it takes as long as it takes. And it's the level of resistance. So when the resistance is high, the progress is slow. It's like brakes. Yeah, it's like the resistance is your brakes. The harder you're pressing on the brakes, the slower you're going to go. Yeah, the people who are like low resistance, open to it. Oh, yeah, let me change my way of thinking. Let me change my approach. You know, admit mistakes that they make. They move much quicker.
Yeah, so I agree. And that's the thing as well. Like, getting on that subject, it's all about like, don't judge yourself by somebody else, but also don't focus on trying to get there quick. Like, try to focus on getting there the right way, because sometimes quick is not the best, like you say. Take it steady, understand the system, understand the process, get the right people on board, so you've got the right surroundings, then go quick. There's no point going quick on your own when you haven't got a builder, you don't know your area, you don't know your returns. What's the point? Gather all the information. Yes, it might take a little bit longer. For me, get all the information in place, find your area, get the builders, etc., then get going.
Yeah, and that kind of really brings me on to the next thing I want to talk about with you, John, because it's like, did you do that from the off? Was it training, or did you make some mistakes? And like, how would you tie in some advice for people how to get started?
Well, for me, like I say, Facebook groups back in 2012, there wasn't that many, I don't think, or not that I was aware of anyway. That was 8 years ago now, so things have gone on since then. So you've got a lot of places to go. But for me, I literally saved up money, sort of dived in feet first and went ahead. Because same again, my goal then was to buy houses, I have a 15-year capital repayment mortgage, pay them off by the time I'm 40, and retire. That was my ambition. But now it's a lot different because I understand the business model. But like I say, there's that much stuff out there. Like I say, you got the real life there. There's loads of other training groups. Get to know the training groups. Get to know and like the people who are training. And then if you want to go further, people always say, yeah, but you can get all the information free online. Yes, you can, probably somewhere. But same again, how much time have you got? Everyone wants to get there quick. But how much time is it going to take you searching on Google, searching on all these Facebook groups? Personally, if you've got the money and you can afford it, why not take a few steps ahead by taking a bit of training? But same again for me, 2012, I bought my first one. I hadn't got a clue about anything. I just sort of did it. I bought my second one in 2014. Same again. And this is, I'll give you a bit of a funny story, actually. After 2 years of fixed year mortgage, I went to the mortgage broker and said, can I get another mortgage? She's going, yeah, what you can do is get a mortgage for the higher value, pull your money back out, and you can also keep the house. I'm like, pull my money back out. I'm like, what? And they're going to let me keep the keys. She's going, yeah, you can do that. You know, it's called a remortgage. I'm like, no way, it sounds like fraud. If someone's going to give me my money back, let me keep the house and keep the keys. I'm like, no way. She's a dodgy mortgage broker. But obviously, that's a remortgage, right? But back in the day, I hadn't got a clue about that. So I ended up waiting a few more months, and then I went back to the broker and went, okay, let's give this a go. Because I was on the fence going, I don't know, sounds a bit dodgy, this does. But I haven't got a clue about this. And if there was training back in the day, that someone could have told me this, I might have been a little bit further ahead than I am now. Because I was literally self-learning. Obviously, 60 to 95-hour weeks, as I said before. I was coming home 9 p.m. at night, and I was going around the house, scraping wallpaper till 12, and I might get a call out down in Birmingham. So I was constantly draining myself just because I didn't understand the process.
I'm still there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we just had a bit of blah. So listen, that makes so much sense to me what you're saying there. And this whole thing about getting the information for free. I mean, I'm just in the middle of writing a book. My book is going to be released on the 12th of December. And I give myself a tight deadline so I get it done. Yes. And I'm telling people so they can keep me to that. So what actually I talk about in there is this whole thing like, yeah, there is information and you could probably get it all for free. Yeah, but at the end of the day, the technical aspect, yeah, you need that. And it is great to have, and this is why we create, a big community with all kinds of different resources. And the technical information, not a problem. And we give a lot away for free, just like I know you do as well, on YouTube channels, on Facebooks, and, certain different trainings. I mean, we've got a training coming up next week on Wednesday. Yeah, I think it's the 25th. Just totally free, talking about flipping, making sure you make profit through flipping. Cash flow is the rental side of it. And my point is, it's like, yeah, the information is there. Yeah, but that's not the real education. If that was the case, everybody who, went through school or had access to Google would be, multi-billionaires if it was information. Yeah. So it cannot be just the information. It's impossible for it to be that. Yeah, so we got the technical, and we have a saying that like your education is not information, but yeah, it's a process of transformation. So you have gone, and we have a thing called Transformational Tuesday, where we kind of like interview and ask questions to some of our people in the tribe, and their results. Okay, is one thing, but the transformation of them, the person themselves, John, that's where we see the results, and that's why real education for the children and the foundation that I'm setting up and stuff, that's why that stuff is so important to me, because just stacking information on top of information. I mean, I used to go to these trainings, John. Yeah. And like people would have like these badges of like all these trainings they've gone to, which is great, like learning and all the rest of it. And we're like, hey, yeah, cool. So how many properties have you got? And at this stage, like we just started. So I was like looking for inspiration. You're always looking for that story of like, oh, has someone else done it? Is it possible? I mean, if someone else is doing it, yeah, oh, what, another person has done it. So I'm always looking for this. And they're like, yeah, I've been on this many trainings and all the rest of it. Yeah, I still want to find my area. That just goes to show that information alone is not enough. It's just simply not enough. Yeah. And it's a big confusion because people go to school for how long, John? Is it 10, 11, 12 years, sometimes 15 years? People go to school. Yeah. And all they're told about is banging on about is information. I mean, come on, how many hours a day that we go to school?
Yeah. I think it's crazy, like I say. I know you keep talking about kids and children and schools, and I think it's great because that's one thing, I think you probably agree with me actually, that they should be training kids in school all about like this, cash and money, just to understand it a little bit. Because when we were a kid, we're all growing up, it's so easy to go, well, money's free because I go, Mum, can I have a chocolate bar? Yeah, of course you can. Mum, can I have this? It's all free to the kid. But they need to understand more that the money isn't free. Money isn't easy to come by. But as even myself as kids, we all get these things for free. At Christmas, we have presents. We haven't got a clue how or why. We just was nice and happy for half an hour and then want something else. So I think in schools, they should be training something around mindset maybe as well, and also about money.
John, that's never going to happen until you come to the real life university, the real life. I don't even want to use the word school. Yeah, it's the foundation. We're going to create foundation. The problem, the challenge is John, around this whole, like, that's a perfect thing what you just said about, they should be teaching them. But also, like, think about it. You don't learn about money in school. Where do people learn about money? Like, think about, I don't know if you know the guy, Jared Kushner, I think his name. He's the son-in-law of Donald Trump, married to his daughter. Yeah, this guy, his salary is 1.7 million. His salary, and he paid 0 in taxes because there was a tax write-off of 8.3 million through his property assets. Yeah. Now journalists actually wrote a column about him and made him out to be some kind of, not directly calling him out, but made him out to be some kind of crook or something, which is why all of your friends, once you start to make money, think you're a crook, or you think the guy driving a Ferrari is a drug dealer, right? But ultimately, this guy just knows how to play the game. He knows how to partner with the government, which give these tax incentives. So you work on projects like providing property, opening businesses, running businesses. But did he learn that stuff in school? No. His parents learned. Did Donald Trump learn about money in school? No, he learned from his father because they used to go around collecting the rent on all the hotels that guy owned as well. So a lot of responsibility is on the parents. The problem is, like me, until I got the real education from real teachers, which again I write about in my book, is it's kind of like we're not served that. We don't know, like you said, they're going to give me the money back and I keep the house as well. It's like you're so shocked because it's so alien to you. And it's like, okay, so we as parents, we got to take the responsibility, but we don't even know either. And it's like you said, I'm breaking the chain in my family and I'm going to change the course of my family. And, to similar effect, that's what most people are doing. Yeah, most people
I got invited just before COVID. Actually, I got invited to talk in a special educational needs school where the kids are coming back from a poorer background. Their parents are probably drinks and drugs and a lot of violence. So literally, I went in there and spoke for like an hour. And literally, the teacher said to me, normally their attention span is 30 minutes. So literally all day, we went in there, sat in front of the class, just chatting like a normal person. And literally, they were all there. They're all quiet. They're all listening for about an hour. I was telling them who I am, where I'm from. I was trying to relate to them because they probably from an estate where I used to live. And literally at the end of it, 2 or 3 of them came up to me, shoot me hand and gone, "Thank you very much. I'm going to do better now." I thought, wow, okay. It made me stand up. And all I've done is talked about who I am and what I've done. So hopefully I've inspired, at least try and inspire one of them kids to just make a little change in their life.
Yeah. And that's it, John. And if that's, what you got in your heart and you feel that's your contribution, as the foundation grows. By the way, actually, you might want to be involved. I'm putting it out there. So anyone here who wants to be involved, put hashtag property deal right now when I explain it. And that is, well, the aim is to do a property deal for free, pretty much. We're just going to pay the professionals, the brokers, the banks, the builders, pay the professionals, but everyone else who wants to contribute towards this property deal will be great learning, great contribution here. Investors that want to invest the money just as a donation or invest the money but don't take any return, they just get their money back. There's options. And ultimately what we want to do is all of the profit is going to go into the foundation. And this is where we're going to be providing events and training, both virtual and live, because obviously the situation. This is already happening. We've already had a few, children as young as 6, 7, and 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, who have been coming. We've already been trying this out, and they're learning real. It's a kind of a fun, but like real life skills that they need around communication, around asking questions, around how to deal with adversity, critical thinking, making decisions, relationships, mood levels, energy, emotion, like this stuff. No, finances. Money. It sounds a bit funny, but like I've been teaching the kids gambling. Yeah. And I taught them gambling and it got them all excited and all the rest of it. And funny enough, they started to win money, but then you keep gambling, eventually you lose the money. Yeah. So we taught them gambling versus investing. and actually making money work for you. And it's a great process. And there's so many more things that we want to do. And it's people like you, John, which I'm sure you may be up for, to like, we want real teachers to come from real backgrounds and teach real education.
Yes,
so if you're up for that, some point in the future, this is going to be more widespread, and especially with the property deal, you want to be involved in that and contribute in any way that you can, then that would be awesome. And I'm sure we'll go on to do many as well, to just keep funding this charity, because ultimately it's for the children, it's for the real education. And some of the parents that have already been contacted and had their children, they're like, this is a must. So as soon as word spreads, that we're doing this, great thing, and once people start to see the results of the children and what they're going to do, I think, it's all going to be there. And with this real education, because I've got a couple more questions for you, John, but I just want to point out for the people who are watching here right now, don't forget, if you've shared this on your feed, on your timeline, and you've tagged 10 people who are in the Real Life Tribe, 10 people who are out the Real Life Tribe, we're going to announce the winner. We're going to announce the winner on here for whoever wins this week's prize of selecting what real life merchandise that they want. So that's going to be all good. But also, when it comes to real education, I like the thing about property investing, the due diligence, making money. Property right now is a great thing, because whether the market is going up, down, sideways, round and round, it's always paying off. People are always making money. As long as you know what it is you're doing, as long as you're getting real education, not just information. And we actually have a couple of things coming up, so you can pick your choice. If you give yourself an early Christmas present and get a ticket to a 3-day virtual event, and by the way, this 3-day virtual event is we're talking about finding deals, honing on your strategy in your area, finding deals and raising the investor finance in the 3 days. Yeah, in the 3 days. And it's when I've said to someone, I was like, this event's going to be the best. Not because I say so, John, because of the results that people get. I mean, who am I to say? I'm just like every other Tom, Dick and Harry, best-selling book and blah, blah, blah. I'm not about that. I'm about the results will say that it's the best, not because I say that it's the best. So this is the technical side, the personal transformational side. So anybody that wants to get that, there's going to be links in here where you can get access to that. So that's going to be awesome for you. You can do that. But also, you might just want to get your toe dipped in and see what the situation is. We got a training next week, which I'll also put a link in here for. Have a read about this. So we're already recording training. Yeah. And we like to train in front of the people. Why? It just makes it more powerful, makes it more interactive. So while we're doing this training anyway, we're giving you access, and there's a link in here. It's called, it's a link in there. It's online property training. We're going to be talking about how to make sure you make profit on flips, how to make profit on flips and get your cash flow from rental and do it simultaneously. Yeah, and how to be able to quit your job sooner if you want to, or how to go full time into it, but also how to scale it. So it's going to happen. We're recording this content anyway for the people that want to come and be there in this private training, in this private Zoom room. Make sure you register as soon as possible. Share it with as many people as possible. We had a blast last time. We recorded some last week, and people were jumping on. We had time for a bit of a Q&A as well, and all that good stuff. So that's super awesome. But John, everything that we discussed tonight and all the adversity and all the things that come up, what is your advice to help people overcome these times, especially through lockdown and COVID? Because I know we were talking about how to COVID proof your business, where really everything that we talked about is super relevant to getting through these times, right? Because, the heat is turned up, the pressure's a lot higher. So things that we've talked about that people might experience or might not, because they don't go for it hard enough. Right now, the heat's turned up beyond your control. So, it's not like, oh, am I going to go for it? It's just like, hey, I've got to go for alternate ways of generating income and supporting my family. So what advice do you have, John, for people getting through these times?
What I'd say is, this is probably one that's, I think everyone says this, but I'm going to say it anyway, but always surround yourself with like-minded but positive people, the people that are going to help to drive you forward. On them days when you're feeling down, reach out to them people. They're the people that will pull you out the mess. They will put their hand down and reach up to you. There's too many people that are feeling down. they think, oh, why me? They aren't talking to no one. The biggest thing is open your mouth, talk to the people or your higher peers, and just get out there and do the job. Get off the fence. Don't be nervous. We're all in the same game. Technically, we are all in the same heat, right? But we've all gone through different things in life. Reach out to them people that you admire, you inspire to be, or I mean, most genuine people will help you. Don't be scared. Most people will help you. The biggest thing is ask the question. So don't be scared and ask the question.
Don't be scared and ask the question. That is top advice right there. So, okay, so reach out, surround yourself with awesome people and all of that good stuff. Super important. Now, if you was to give people advice, what are some of the things to look out for, especially during this, lockdown where things are not running how they normally run? What would you say the top 3 things for them to look out for so they do the right due diligence, or they do, like they don't just go blind running into the same mistakes that, you and I have made? Yeah.
What I'd say is, first thing is get around the right professionals. Make sure your professionals are all in order. Choose your area. Find your build team, find your lawyer, find your broker. Make sure you've got all of them in place whilst you're searching. Don't feel down because you aren't progressing. Times at the moment are booming. Property prices are absolutely steaming at the moment. So just sit back and wait. Get all your armor ready. Get all your sort of guns loaded. That's probably the one biggest thing. Get your team around you the strongest it can be. So when you're ready, you can pull that trigger and your gun's full of ammo. There isn't no point in stressing. There isn't no point in saying, I want to deal right now. I want to go quick. Literally, get all your armor around you. So once the time's great to kick off, you're there.
And would you adjust that advice, or what advice would you have, John, for someone like me? I'm not the kind of guy that wants to sit back. We're gunning for new deals. Our pipeline is being filled in the completion stage, a finishing stage, construction stage, getting offers accepted. There's all this, supposed uncertainty in the marketplace. So what would you advise someone who wants to go all guns blazing?
Yeah, push someone like yourself, guns blazing, literally start to step up your social media. Like same again, get around the bulls. Like step up your social media, your YouTube, your Instagram, your Twitter. Step that up because you're going to need deals. You're going to need money. The only way you're going to coffee with them just yet, but get out there, meet the people, start to step up your social media. Start doing at least 1 or 2 posts a week. Because that was one of the biggest things for me. Most of my larger investors have come from sort of sitting back. They are the ones that are sitting back. They are the watchers. And literally, it comes to a point, let's say in 18 months' time, you might be thinking as, oh, nothing's happening. But all of a sudden, you'll get an email going, hi, Mark, I've been watching you for 18 months. You're like, spooky. But once you get that first one, it's because you've got out your comfort zone and you've stepped up your social media. I think social media is a massive point to grow in any business. Whether you want customers, whether you want money, whether you want deals, you've got to step up your social media.
Whether you want friends, does it work for that too?
No, let's get rid of your friends, fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, hey, sound advice, my friend. What's funny is all of our investors, every single one, none of the money that's ever been lent to us has been by people that we knew previously before we started on this journey, and all of it has come through being known through social media in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, networking is great, and it is a good thing. But yeah, like you say, the social media thing, I might post 1 or 2 times a day. Yeah, but I'm same as you, John. I just want to help people. Business is my passion. So I love being out there and doing business, but helping people in the mission of of assisting people to live the 5 freedoms. I don't know if you've seen some of our videos where I talk about financial, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual freedom and discovery and development. That is my purpose. Yeah, so super good. And right now, so for these real life tribe people, they're just about to go into their private mastermind with lots of different questions and different knowledge that's going to be shared, and a like-minded and creative people and creative solutions for them to continue going out there and take action. So just before we do shoot off, John, and send and make sure that the tribe have enough time just to go in there, there's one thing that we always say, and we don't want anybody to forget because it's so important. And that one thing is to do the right thing for the right reason. Now, why is that?
It's the only way to discover your true potential.
Yes, this guy got it. Awesome. Discover your true potential financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That is absolutely key. John, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on here, sharing your story and sharing your. Hey, listen, people are giving you lots of kudos there, John. You got it right. You did your research. You must have done it weeks ago.
About 57 minutes ago.
Yeah. Good. Hey, but I like your style. Maybe I gave it away saying, hey, I'm going to ask you some questions. But yeah, great kudos here, John. Thank you so much for coming on here, inspiring many people. Let's do more together. Let's share some ideas, just like we have done here for everyone here tonight. But yeah, let's help the children. Let's inspire them. Let's replace the education. I'm going to change the education system. Might as well just replace it. It'll be easier. So let's do that. So thank you so much, John. Such a pleasure to have you on here.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me on. It's nice to see a lot of names I already know. So cheers, everybody.
Good. Awesome. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on Real Life Money Monday panel. Oh my goodness, do you want to join us next week? You're going to see that tonight or tomorrow it advertised. We're going to be bringing you more business, entrepreneurship, and also money and property again as well. Oh my goodness, this person is going to blow your mind. So just like John has this evening. So yeah, bring questions. Oh, I see everyone on the mastermind. Yeah, okay. Excellent. So thank you so much, John. Everybody else, do the right thing for the right reason.